welcome to Tamaqua. And this is a prime example of a community partnership. And I mean, you're absolutely right. It's young people, it's old people, it's people in between. And you never know what can happen when you come up with a dream. The first thing you have to do is say, okay, what's the problem? What's the problem that you want to identify? With the 2004 partnership, in 1993, people walked into my legislative office in Tamaqua and said, you know, we've got a problem. We've got a problem. We don't have as many downtown businesses as we would like to have. We don't have as many jobs in the downtown for people your age and after college as we would like to have. We don't have as many parking spaces. And parking, you know, that's not sexy, but guess what? If you don't have the parking spaces, you're not going to have the other things. And so the next thing we knew, we had a town meeting, we had 200 people, we were putting up ideas on the walls, and it wasn't just downtown, it was jobs in the local industrial park, which at the time was also mostly empty, which is a very bad thing for an industrial park. And also we ended up talking about a lot about recreation. We looked at the Blue Mountain School District, which has one of the best intermunicipal recreation programs anywhere in Pennsylvania. And some of my friends in Tamaqua said, I think we can copy that. And we're still not quite as big as Blue Mountain, but we've got a lot more programs here than we did before. We also had a group that said, you know, we'd like to do more, not just to fix things up, but let's fix things up in a historically accurate way. The Tamaqua train station was this close to being bulldozed. You know, it was built in 1874. It was a major transportation hub. Part of it had burned. People had knocked out all the windows, and some people just said, you know, let's just get rid of it. And we said, no, we need parking, but not there. And so a group of people worked together, raised over $1 million. I was able to help out with some state dollars, but oh my gosh, they sold hot dogs and fly swatters and bricks and halupkis and halushki, and you know, you don't make a lot of money on fly swatters, but somehow they made enough money so that now that building is the pride of the community. And I feel so good when someone's coming through town that, you know, maybe they're back here for their 10th or their 20th high school reunion, and I get this phone call and they say, oh my God, what's happened here? This looks really good. And so, you know, sometimes the people that live here, we drive by it every day. You and I drive by it every day, sometimes twice. And so, you know, we don't see the changes, but the people from outside see it. And it all started with a couple of people. This facility right here started with a couple of people sitting in my office in Harrisburg, and it was one of my favorite meetings, 25 years in public life. The president of Lehigh Carbon Community College, former Representative Don Snyder, who represented a district down around Emmaus, had come to Harrisburg to meet with people from the Morgan Foundation. And the Morgan Foundation desperately wanted to bring more higher education opportunities to people in this part of the county. You know, I've taught class at Penn State Schuylkill, and that's a wonderful facility. There's a similar facility at Penn State Hazelton, but they were looking for more. And Don said, well, you know, I think that maybe there might be a need here, but how do we know that if we build it, people will come? And the people from the Morgan Foundation said, well, how about free tuition? And Don said, where do I sign up? And so for Tamaqua, it's a wonderful deal. For the rest of the county, it's a pretty good deal too, because the students here get a decent education and they get it at a bargain rate. Believe me, I have 2 kids going elsewhere right now who are costing me a considerable fortune. And so I understand, you know, both the importance as well as the costs. But it all started with a couple of people. And a lot of those people are volunteers, people that show up for a meeting once or twice a month, and they say, okay, you know, what are the needs? Where can we connect the dots? What can Air Products do to help? What can L-Tri-C do to help? What can we do to reach out to the local media to ask them to publicize it? But it also takes more than volunteers, which is where Linda comes in.
Alcohol-related accidents kill someone every 31 minutes in the United States.
60% of all teen car accident deaths are alcohol-related.
In 2005, underage drinkers consumed 12.1% of all alcohol sold in Pennsylvania.
On any given weekend, 1 in 10 drivers on America's roads has been drinking.
Drunk driving kills almost 17,000 people each year.
In 2006, 544 lives were lost in Pennsylvania due to driving under the influence, including 8 people from Schuylkill County.
Don't be another statistic.
Linda is a trained professional. Linda has been working at the downtown revitalization business now longer than I can remember. She's the person that I bug when I come up with crazy ideas at midnight and send emails and say, have we ever tried this? She probably has 2 file cabinets. One, a drawer full of good ideas from Dave Argall, and probably 2 or 3 drawers of, oh my gosh, this will never work. Okay. But Linda, please fill them in on what really has made this project work. I think much faster and in many ways that we probably never could have imagined 15 years ago.
As Dave said, I am, in addition to being executive director of the Chamber, I also hold the title of Main Street Manager, full-time Main Street Manager, which means that I manage the revitalization, the community revitalization program in our downtown, which within a 5 community area is the only commercial business district. Main Street was started here in town in the Tamaqua area in 1998, and I've been the manager since 1999.
Wow.
I've been told I'm here till I die by this gentleman here. So
she can't leave.
Which is fine. Anyway, the Main Street program is really a community-driven revitalization effort. It is done from within, certainly with a lot of really strong, important partnerships with the state, with the local community, with the local business owners, with the residents, with just about everybody that is involved in doing anything in the commercial business district. We have been in existence since '98. Since '98, the state and the borough have provided funding for the first 9 years to provide that program or to maintain that program. Since 2007, the Tamaqua Area Chamber of Commerce has taken over the management of the Main Street program. It still is a borough program. We still are, but basically the management is taken over. It has been taken over by the chamber. Everybody asks why so much emphasis on the downtown and why this commercial revitalization downtown is important. And the reason is because the downtown is really the cover of the book about Tamaqua. When people drive through, I used to be on Borough Council, and several years before all of this started, we had a gentleman drive through town and write a letter that said this was the dirtiest place he had ever been. And through that, I mean, everybody was like, you're kidding me, but then everybody really took a look around and said, you know what, he's right. So what happened out of that was there was an organization formed called Tamaqua Beautification, and they started cleaning up, planting trees. If you're familiar coming into Tamaqua from the north into the center of town, there was a very small group of volunteers who planted 50 trees along 309. So those trees that you see that are so beautiful in the spring and the summer were all planted by volunteers. It was a community project. They're all memorial trees. People donated money so that we could purchase the trees. We were able to get a local contractor to come in to do the excavating so we could do it. We were able to work with the railroad to be able to get those trees planted on their property. And since then, there's been a lot of effort in that particular area. That, to me, really was the start of the idea that there could be some kind of community organizing to get things and make things better in Tamaqua. As it progressed, as Dave said, we had business people and other residents walking into Dave's office saying, this is terrible, business is awful, we have empty buildings, we have empty houses, what can we do? So from that, as Dave said, the Main Street program was born. And we're not alone in this. There are a lot of Main Street programs throughout the community. We are one of probably the oldest ones throughout the state. We are probably one of the oldest. There are several who are really